Two of the biggest challenges we have as content creators, as creative conductors, is learning how to learn fast. Material that's really relevant, using that, and also when we're creating. What you do, I'm going to give you 5 steps on that. I'm going to show you how I use Chatgpt on my phone to get some ideas in that you can use as well. Let's get right into it here. First of all, you want to start reading a lot from a variety of sources. And when you see a quote, when you see something you think, hey, I can use that, by all means, get it down, get it recorded. Don't do like my brain sometimes says, oh, I'm driving along, for instance, classic, driving along, listening to something, I go, oh, that's a great idea. I'll remember that. Yeah, right, Terry. It's up out of there. So what you want to do is you want to record it. Get it down right away. One of the things I remember from the late, great Earl Nightingale, man who was considered the dean of personal development. He said, when an idea comes, you want to stab it. And what he meant by that was take a pen and paper. Remember that? Yeah, we used to use those. Well, I'm doing that right now here with this. Use my paper here, and I got the pens and writing it down. But when you get an idea, you want to grab it. And I find that helps a lot. As you're writing it down cognitively, it seeps in a little bit better. When you write it down, also you're bringing in the writing, you're seeing it, and maybe you're talking to it as well, so you're getting the auditory capability. All those different learning modalities. Really good. So as you see it, grab that. And you want to start using more quotes when you're doing something. Here's a quote, but don't just put it in there and go, yes, that's a nice little quote. Oh yeah, okay, good. What you want is you want to be able to say, I like what she said about this. And the reason is because of A, B, and C. Now you're giving your opinion in there, not just saying famous person said this. Or you might say, I hear what they're saying on that. I take a little different point of view, particularly on what they said about this. This is where Google is now looking. The old days, I mean, long, long ago, like 2025, we were looking at where things were then, and it's a little bit different today. It's not just a matter of being cited with the references. I've put some videos out on that here that talk about what they're looking for now with Generative Engine Optimization. That's what you want. You want to make sure that you're doing that. And then the answer engine optimization. So you're looking at what's going on right there, not just a search engine. Right now, many things are being done on the website. People don't even go over to other sites. What you want to do is be cited as an expert so that people say, hey, when you want to know about Ukiwaggers, work with me on this, okay? Ukiwaggers, well then the person for that is John over here, or Mary over here, or Tanisha, she really knows this stuff well. Okay, fine. Then you're cited, and that's where this engine start looking at it. So that's the first step. You want to put that in there. I'm going to give these 5, and then I want to show you how I did use Chatgpt to do this, the actual conversation. So I'm going to do that. Now, step number 2, record some or all of your ideas. One thing I would recommend, when you read something in a book, you go, well, yeah, that's real good. I don't know about you, I like to highlight it. I don't do as much right now with paper books, although I do read some. I tend to prefer my Kindle because I can highlight it and then it's all collected in one place and I can use it. Plus I can carry my phone with me when I travel, and I can carry literally thousands of books so that I can tap into something when I'm there in a hotel room and it's a quiet evening in the hotel room and I can relax and I can read some things. I like doing that as well. But I encourage you, get those down. As Earl Nightingale said, you stab that idea, you get a hold of it. And matter of fact, one of the things I would recommend, instead of writing it down, I would strongly recommend you record it. Get a system set up for you so that you can quickly talk it into your device, because we can talk faster than we can type or write. Both of those. Talking is better. So you want to get something set up, you can do it. Fortunately, with most phones today, you can do that. I've got a spreadsheet set up where I collect ideas and what I need to do. And on that Google spreadsheet, I just say, oh, I got an idea, I need to do that. And I've learned, don't just say, yes, I'll remember it, Terry, because I don't remember. I don't know about you, but I have trouble with that. So what I do is I go in there and I say, all right, tap into it. Then I say, be sure and contact so-and-so, or here's a great quote. Da, 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 da. And I have a Google Doc where I can put a lot of ideas that I just dump in there, so that then when it comes time to create something, I just go over there and get the information. That way it's a whole lot better than me trying to think, gee, what am I going to do? And somehow the ideas aren't there. I've been creating content since, actually when I was back in high school, actually even in grade school, I was doing some things in second and third grade, writing some things down. In high school, I was on the paper there and worked for some other papers in the community. And undergrad degree was radio, TV, and newspaper. So I know a little bit about these things, but I find that when I can write it down, I work better. How does that work for you? Please leave a note in the comments, wherever you're getting this content. Might be on YouTube, might be with a podcast form, might be over on LinkedIn, or might be on Substack. We love Substack. Oh, great little tool. Lots of good things that are there. But I'd love to hear from you on how you do that. So that's number 2. Number 3, you want to share your point of view. This is what I call you-ize it. The Y-O-U-I-Z-E. You-ize it and put your feeling, your ideas into it. I like to say, let's say your name is John. Well, you would want to John-ize it. Or if your name is Betty, you would want to Betty-ize it. And as I often like to say, I'm Terry, so I like to Terry-ize it. Sounds kind of cool that way. You know, not everybody can do that, you know, so I put it in there as Terry-ize it, but I want you to put your feeling in. What do I mean by that? You're going to put in your ideas where you agree, where you disagree on this. And I think we need to have more of that in our society, not arguing and shouting at each other, no, but embracing what we talk about here at Stark Raving Entrepreneurs, live and let live. I don't see anything wrong with that philosophy. You live your life, do whatever you want to do, anything, as long as, this is the important thing, you don't harm others, you don't take their stuff. Okay? You don't harm others, you don't take their stuff, you keep your word, you say you're going to do something, you do it, and this is how to do it. I think our world would be better if we did that. And so in creating content, put out content from different points of view. I don't know about you, but I've changed my view through life quite a bit. Matter of fact, this next week coming up, got one of those major birthdays coming in, one of the kind of birthdays that you say, when the heck did that happen there? I don't know, but it's there, and I'm looking forward to it and getting into it with gusto. But I want you to record these ideas as they come to you. You put them down there and you put in your own feeling, your point of view in there, so then it's unique. Number 4, you want to ask Chatgpt or your other LLMs that you're using. I'm using Gemini, love it to pieces. Grok, I really love, got lots of good things there. I'll also use Perplexity. Claude is also very good. There's several that are out there. I recommend that you have 1 or 2 that you can really be comfortable with, and generally a third one, because you'll sometimes get different points of view. So you want to do that. You want to ask ChatGPT to do some research. Now here's where it starts sparkling, because it's one thing to hear from Terry, and this is what I believe about this. Okay, that's nice, but what's the research saying? And this is where ChatGPT just recently, as we're doing this recording, improved their voice capability so that you can interact even better. I'm going to let you see an example of that in just a little bit here. It is really good if you're using that. I'm using the paid version, $20 a month, so I can get a little bit more that way. And then also in their research, the deep research that you can get from ChatGPT, also from Gemini. Gemini has some really good research capabilities, and their Notebook LM, fabulous tool. Notebook LM is a tool that I'd recommend strongly take a look at. We've got some videos on that we put together, and people are loving it. So looking and seeing what it can do and how it's helping them. But then doing that deep research, and also Perplexity. Perplexity really sparkles when it comes to the labs, or they used to call it labs, now they're calling it something else, but it's the research that they have within Perplexity. They do a lot with it. However, disadvantage of using Perplexity, if you're not using their $200 a month program, you are not officially allowed by their documents, their terms of agreement, to use it in a commercial venture. That's right, this is just a side note, but really important between you and me. As content creators, careful, because if you get a bunch of ideas and you want to put that in from Perplexity, not if you're going to use it in business. That's Perplexity. Other LLMs will let you do that. You can use it yourself, but what you can do, this is not working around, it's what I got from Perplexity himself. You might find a reference, you go, ooh, I really like this one. Go over, read the original document, then you could refer to the original document. to say this was cited by Professor Smith and Professor Jones at the University of East Waukauga or whatever. Put it in there, and that would be one way to work with it. Anyway, that's something to be aware of. Very important when you're using it. And then fifth, I recommend that you put together a rough draft. Now I say, me being the nerd that I am, this is what I call my doggy draft. You get it, rough. Oh, okay, work with me on this. All right, it's me. I'm a nerd. My brain works that way. But I like to look at it. This is where I just do a verbal talk down. I'll either get my microphone here and do it, or I'll do it on my phone, be able to just do a brain dump. I'm not worried about correct grammar. I'm not worried about spelling. I'm not worried about saying something that I go, that's not exactly what I meant. I meant more like this. It's just a way to get the ideas from here up in my little noggin, from bouncing around up there down onto something where I can operate on it. For me, that means Google Docs. I like to use Google Docs and get it down there in print so I can use it. Sometimes I'll go directly into Google Docs and I just do a brain dump of the ideas. So those are the 5 steps that you want to use. Using those, you can do a lot. And so I was asking Chatgpt about that, and I said, okay, what do you think about this and how can we do it? And I asked him to get some information. I told him, I'm calling him, what I basically did there, and then came back with this. And so let's see what he had to say as I talked to Chatgpt about this.
I like where you're going with this. It's a nice little learning content creation loop. It's reflective and layered, which is a solid approach for both internalizing knowledge and producing thoughtful content. Now, a dose of reality.
Here we go.
Be ready for that rough draft to feel rougher than a cat's tongue sometimes. But that's where the magic of iteration kicks in. The key is balance. Don't get lost in endless opinions. And don't let perfection freeze you. Your doggy draft won't bite. Overall, these steps are practical and flexible. Just be careful not to get stuck in step 4, swimming in endless research. Keep moving forward, and you'll keep learning and creating.
Okay, that's really important. And be careful you don't get lost in those endless hunting around. And I actually put that in there as a question, because I said, I need your help on this. And I went back and I say, I was looking for it, and sometimes I'm going over here, and well, that's good, but did you see this over here? Oh, wait a minute, did you see this one over here? Or that? You know what I'm talking about, my fellow creative conductors. You know, you content creators, that's what we go through on that. But I said, okay, how do I get around that, Chatgpt? And it gave me some real good ideas after I asked that. Let's listen to this.
The classic intellectual treasure hunt, where you start with triangles and end up in ancient philosophy and nuclear physics. The trick is to embrace those detours briefly, but always tie them back to your core thread. Set a timer if you need to. Curiosity time, and when the bell rings, you yank yourself back to your purpose. Think of it like a boomerang, a quick arc out, but always returning to your main mission. That way you get the bonus insights without building an actual nuclear plant in the process.
Exactly, because I joked with them, I said, we'd be like me going over here, let's build a nuclear plant. Well, we did not study a whole lot about building nuclear plants when I went to business school. So I have, let's say, 0 expertise in that area. But I mentioned that too, and it was fun to do that. Now, by the way, I want you to notice the main thing. I'm using the Chatgpt because now it's a more fluid way of talking, as if it were a real person here. Their most recent update gave us content creators some really good tools, in-depth talking back and forth. They've enhanced that quite a bit. Check it out on your own phone. Find out what it's like. And you want to use the phone version of this versus the laptop version, or if you have a desktop, using that as well. You want to make sure that you're working with that. Those two, the deep research and the voice, real important. So I asked that about that, and then when I said that we've got to take care of this, it came back and told me, yes, this is what we need to do. So my friends, you can learn a lot. When you get that idea and you've read a new book and you like it, I encourage you to keep stronger notes. Put it in there, do a brain dump. Let's say when you're not creating, but you're just reading a good book and you want to remember that. Create an audio file of it where you can dump it into Google Docs, because you can usually read faster in text than we can listen to something, even if we click the speed up with learning on that. We can do that, and you can keep the audio if you like as well. So you'll have both. You can hear it and then read it. That way you're tapping into the visual and the auditory modality. Grab the kinesthetic, the touching and feeling modality, also using some other things. So these are some ideas that I have. I want to hear from you. It's one thing for Terry to say, oh, this is what we're doing, et cetera, et cetera. We can do that. And bounce over to starkravingentrepreneurs.com. I'd love to see you come over and take a look and see if we might be able to help you on that. Right now, we are really growing, getting a lot of people coming in for our session. We did one just yesterday, matter of fact. We were able to get some learning about Substack, looking with that, with some experts that came in to help us. Natasha Tynes coming in, talking about that. And this is something that can help you. So take a look at that. And I love to hear from you. Please let us know in the notes below, in the comments, what it is to you. I'm Terry Brock. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And don't forget, you're going to check out the video that's coming up next. We've got this one right over here that's going to help you to understand more about how we can use these tools in a practical, real way. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful day.